It was Sunday, July the 5th, 2015, and I found myself in Greece, Athens, a city renowned for its rich history and vibrant culture. However, on that Sunday, Athens was at the centre of a monumental event, the first referendum since the 1974 Republic referendum. Yet in the midst of this, a life lesson was waiting to unfold. That afternoon, as I wandered through the complicated alleys and explored the ancient ruins, I came across a young woman named Alejandra, who, just like me, was also traveling solo. We got talking away, and she eventually inquired about my background. I proceeded to keep it vague and diplomatic, as one might as a Brit. I then proceeded to share with her my age and my dedication to studying law back home and deciphering case law and memorizing somewhat pointless legislations when I think back to it now. You see, my dream was to one day stand inside of an American courtroom and very confidently utter, "Objection, Your Honor, objection." As some of you might have already guessed, yes, I had spent far too many hours watching American legal series, and at that point, I wanted to be just like Alicia Florrick from The Good Wife. As Alejandra and I continued talking, she then shared with me that she was also a student back home in Spain, studying architecture. When I questioned her reason for traveling solo, she shared with me that she was traveling solo in the hopes of finding her life's purpose. And in that moment, it was as if the world had stopped for a few seconds and my eyes lit up. Because up until that point, purpose had seemed like an elusive concept amongst people my age. And purpose sounds simple, yet an article written by Aaron McClung reveals that only 10% of us know what our life's purpose is. And out of that 10%, only 5% of us are living in our life's purpose. Yet for me, purpose is not just a mere abstract concept. It is the beating heart to our existence, the fuel that ignites our passion, and the very essence of what makes all of us human. Today, I will share with you all, in 3 simple steps, how I reached my purpose renaissance, in the hopes that you too can embark on a similar journey. Now let's rewind back to that pivotal moment on July the 5th, marking the initiation of our very first step. I remember trying to explain to my friends at the time that whilst I absolutely loved the law, it didn't fulfill my spirit completely. It fulfilled about 40% of my spirit, but the remainder 60% felt empty. And this emptiness led to confusion, which then had a negative impact on my self-perception and how I viewed the world around me. And it was that feeling of emptiness that landed me in Greece, Athens that summer. So as fate would have it, just like Alejandra, I too was on a quest to finding my life's purpose outside of just my studies. So that whole summer, I would ask myself and any stranger that looked safe enough to approach, what is purpose? Is it a destination or perhaps a grand vision to be realized? And by the end of the summer, I became consumed by this ideology of purpose, and I immersed myself in books and interviews, and it very quickly became clear to me that I was not alone on this journey. Purpose had fascinated philosophers and truth seekers for centuries, and for very good reason. During one of my online research sessions, I stumbled across Steve Jobs' Stanford commencement speech, where he goes on to state, "Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. And most important, have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. They somehow already know what they truly want to become. Everything else is secondary." His words in that moment managed to put into words what I had been feeling for over a year, and reiterated my suspicions that purpose isn't just a destination. It is the fuel propelling us forward, helping us to use creativity in overcoming adversity and discovering our purpose. In essence, the first step involved acknowledging the void that I felt inside of me and embracing the unknown to unravel the intricate layers of the Renaissance that was waiting to unfold. And as we continue on this journey to discovering our life's purpose, the second goal involves creating clear life goals. And we can simplify it by using the SMART matrix, a method that many of you are already familiar with. So let's say my newfound passion is baking. A very simple goal might be to say that I wish to perfect the art of baking. Now, in applying the SMART matrix, I would say that I wish to perfect the art of baking chocolate chip cookies by the summer of 2024. And I would do so by trying a new recipe every 2 weeks. And I'll get these recipes off of YouTube, Google, or maybe even a few cookbooks. With that example, I have kept it specific, measurable. There are a few actions in there. There is a timeline, and I've kept it somewhat realistic. And that is because one of my very favorite things to do when creating life goals is in making sure that they are realistic, because I think that's one of the most important elements to the SMART matrix. And if we look at the example of perfecting chocolate chip cookies, notice that I have given it a timeline of 6 months and not just 6 days or 6 weeks. And that is because I need to allow myself time to improve on my skills slowly but surely. I have also chosen chocolate chip cookies and not something hard to bake such as French pastries. And that is because I have to be conscious of my time, effort, and limits. The very important thing about the second step is ultimately making sure that your goals are SMART. So that is in making sure that they are specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, and time-bound. And that is so that you can hopefully use your goals like a roadmap that can guide you towards that purpose renaissance. And with the completion of self-discovery and defining our life goals, it dawned on me that having a purpose also motivates us to dedicate our time to the greater good, which then allows us to leave a legacy that transcends our mortal existence. And with this realization, it leads us into our third and final step. Now let's go back again. However, this time I'll be taking you all back to the year 2022, where I found myself bestowed with the honor and privilege of lecturing a few hours a week at a university, a role that I embrace with profound gratitude, all thanks to Julie and Nihao. I remember as if it was yesterday, having delivered my very first seminar and walking away with the realization that lecturing wasn't just going to be another profession for me. No, it was quite literally the embodiment of one of my life's purpose, which is to help others in becoming the best versions of themselves and to illuminate the path to success for those who seek it. There is a particular story that stands out to me, of that of a student who, for this story, we will name him Daniel. In the classroom, I've witnessed countless stories of transformation and self-discovery. And at the beginning of our academic journey together, I could barely get a few words out of Daniel. I remember that it was during our third seminar together that I finally managed to break the ice with Daniel and the rest of the class. And at the end of that session, Daniel approached me with a very anxious look on his face. And he shared with me that he had been struggling with low grades across some of his modules. And as a result, it was having a negative impact on his confidence both inside and outside of university. Daniel's words resonated with me. First, because I thought it was extremely brave of him to allow himself to be vulnerable. And two, because in that moment, I saw my 20-year-old self staring right back at me, which made me realize that Daniel didn't just need someone to merely teach him. Daniel needed someone to speak life into him, to give him some professional direction. And for the rest of the term, I was dedicated to making sure that Daniel understood not only his academic greatness, but also the potential awaiting him. And ladies and gents, when it came time for Daniel to complete his assessments at the end of that term, his transformation was nothing short of remarkable. He demonstrated not only an understanding of the course material, but also exhibited the strength and determination that comes from having guidance and having someone simply believing in you, just like Nihal and Julie believed in me. You see, Daniel's story, just like my story, reminds us that having a purpose isn't just about personal fulfillment through self-discovery and setting life goals. It's also about having a positive impact on the world around us. Let's consider the world visionaries and leaders throughout history. From Michelle Obama to one of my personal favorites, Sean Carter. They all share a common thread, a deep sense of purpose that drove them to want to create change for themselves and also for the people around them. Now, some may argue that not everyone can be a world-changing visionary, and that is absolutely true. Our purposes vary greatly, from raising a loving family to excelling at a chosen career, from fighting for a cause that we are passionate about, or to simply bringing joy and kindness into the lives of those we encounter. But what I do know is that your purpose is unique to you, and it does not have to be grand to be meaningful. What matters is that it gives your life meaning and direction. So I urge each and every one of you to step into your renaissance. Experience the rebirth. Embark on the profound journey of discovering your life's purpose and set those goals. It is not a luxury. It is, however, a necessity for a fulfilling, healthy, and impactful life. And as you navigate through this journey, remember that your journey may change and evolve over time. And that is absolutely natural. What matters is that you take the time to reflect on what truly matters to you and what drives us as a society forward. Your renaissance awaits you. And when you step into it, you will not only transform your own life, but you will also leave a permanent mark in the lives of those that you encounter. Thank you so much.